Hi guys, TF47 here, and today we're taking a look at new Bachmann HO scale figures. This is the Farmer McColl's sheep pack and the Farmer Trotter and the pigs pack. We can see here with the packaging. I do like this style of packaging because it's reusable, so you can open it, you can close it back, and it keeps the figures from getting dust and dirt and scratched. So I do appreciate that. Here's like the bottom packaging, and then here's a look at the figures themselves. So here we have a great looking figure here of Farmer McColl. Great details, everything is painted, and that really surprised me. We have the dog here, I believe her name is Angel. Very nice. Here's a look at the side, again, great details, looks wonderful. Here's a look at the back, we can even see little elbow patches there, little straps on the boots, very nice. Here's a look at the top of the figures and the bottom, and the base is removable on Farmer McColl, which I thought was interesting. Alright, next up here is Farmer Trotter. And again, this looks just like the CGI series. They've done a wonderful job painting these. Here's a look at the back of the figure. Here's a look at the other side. Here's a look at the top and the bottom. And again, that base is removable. Alright, and here are the sheep figures that are included, and these look really great, and these are very, very tiny. These are HO scale, or very, very close to it, which I do appreciate. You can see they look great there with a HO scale play row figure. Here's a look at the front, the other side, and the back. And then here's a look at the top and the bottom. Alright, next up are Farmer Trotter's pigs, and these look great too. These look very close to what we see in the CGI series, which I do appreciate. Very nice. Here's a look at the back. I also like how some of them are like laying down. They have different poses. I appreciate it's not just the same thing over and over. And here's a look at the bottom. Alright, so the biggest problem that I have with these, and I mentioned in the other videos, is the scaling. As you can see here, just an example of the other figures with these different models. They don't really work well when it comes to scaling. Now, some things they do, like the new motorized range, but when it comes to Bachmann items, they're just too tall. When it comes to HO scale, they just don't look right beside HO scale stuff, and it looks weird, and you wouldn't think that Bachmann would do something like that. Here's a cute little picture, though, of I have them with my new motorized models, and again, with those, they look wonderful. Very perfectly scaled, and they look great, too, with some of the rolling stock, like you can see here. So, all in all, what are my thoughts on these figures? Well, they're incredible figures. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. The problem is that they don't go with anything. And that is, like, the most disappointing thing out of all of these packs, because they're wonderfully detailed. They're beautiful. They are the closest thing that I think we'll probably ever get to scale models of HO scale, you know, Thomas figures, but they're not HO scale. They don't work with HO scale models, which is what Bachmann specializes in. So, I don't know, it's just mind-boggling to me that they made this decision. I just don't understand it. With that being said, though, they're not bad models. They look wonderful. Again, it's the problem that they don't really go with anything. You can't use these with Take and Play. You can't use them with Wooden Railway because the scaling's just so far off. Now, don't get me wrong, you could use them, but they're not going to be, you know, like HO scale figures that blend right in. These are going to stand out very heavily. Now, they don't look bad with narrow gauge items. So, like, if you're doing, like, Skarloey Railway layout, they look great because they're just slightly larger. And they don't look bad with the new motorized models at all. In fact, they're very perfectly scaled with those new motorized engines, which is nice. So at least they do go with something. But unfortunately, I was looking forward to these being very, very, you know, usable models across the entire fandom range, and they're just not really that. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know, were you surprised about the scaling of these models? Did you think they were HO scale like I did, or did you know that they were going to be a little bit different? Anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.